just how quickly we're seeing this market get worse. It was the worst day for Wall Street since 1987. In leadership or offered policies and technology that are good for the environment. This comes from BlackRock over and over again. They say that gun makers should do more to protect American lives, which seems like a step in the right direction. Companies said they would make things safer, but so far, working with authoritarian states has done the same thing. We are giving BlackRock money without knowing it, and we have made it our duty to help lower that over time. Putting out its numbers this morning. About 1.2% of shares are down. But what it's all about is our ideals. About that company, but it looks like. Are you interested in making money without doing anything by selling automatically on Bybit? I'd like to share something interesting with you that's free. You don't even have to sit in front of your computer all day to follow my trades. Just click on the link below. You can also see how much money I make every month from trading by clicking the link in the description. Making money at your own pace is what it's all about. Look it over. Even though it looks like the price of XRP is starting to move in a very good direction, the breakout will still have to wait for that one big event. We're all very excited about it. In this video, which will air tomorrow, I want to talk about something that could be that spark. Watch the whole video all the way to the end. You won't want to miss it. I'd also like to talk about the start of the Zio network. In fact, the XRP sidechain showed up earlier today. At the moment, some people say this would be bad for XRP, which is supported by this video. I'd like to talk about my thoughts on whether the Zio chain is good or bad for the XRP ledger based on its ability to take value from the main chain and eventually compete with the XRP ledger. You won't want to miss this at all. I'd like to start this movie by talking about a recent court loss that was really not taken into account. So, one way the SEC has been trying to control the cryptocurrency market without being seen is by telling public companies not to deal with cryptocurrencies. At this time, the law doesn't allow the secretary to tell publicly owned companies they can't do something. That being said, they can make rules that make it very hard for publicly traded companies to work with the cryptocurrency business. To put it simply, they did this by making public companies list their cryptocurrency positions on their balance sheets. A lot of rules were made by the SEC to make it harder to keep track of those coins. It's important to understand that most public businesses don't like taking risks. Because of this, most of these businesses will not take the chance if the SEC passes complicated rules that require them to hold cryptocurrencies. Instead, they will say, you know what? It would be too risky and hard for us to deal with this right now. Because of this, the SEC has been ruling the cryptocurrency market behind the scenes by not letting public companies that have to register with the SEC talk to the cryptocurrencies they want to. Therefore, we gained a major victory in this matter today when the agency said that the SEC had broken the law by acting in this way. They are now begging Congress to do something. This is basically because of the SEC's actions in this area. There is more legal resistance. In fact, the SEC says that its technology is fair, but the courts keep finding evidence that doesn't support this. It's becoming clear that the SEC is not neutral when it comes to technology, and this is not just what a bunch of Bitcoin fans think. This has been proven by the judges. This is important because I really think that the courts may have agreed with the SEC in the past. I was especially worried because the SEC is a government agency and cryptocurrencies are still pretty new. A lot of people don't understand what they are. The courts would not agree with us, even though I think that crypto fans were always right because the courts did not have the knowledge to really understand these complicated issues. We are, however, seeing that the legal system constantly agrees with us and shows that the SEC is completely wrong. And this, in my opinion, shows how useless the SEC has been in this business. In spite of the fact that most people know very little about them, cryptocurrencies have a bad image. Even the fact that cryptocurrencies have a bad name can't convince the judges that the SEC is on the right side of these problems. This is because the agency's arguments have been so weak and don't make sense. In the grand scheme of things, this is just another big win for the Bitcoin business. The SEC has a lot of power, but it's great that the courts are taking action against them. This is how we get that power back, people. It's getting very bad for the SEC in court, which says we were always right and that the SEC is not acting in good faith. Now that I'm done with that, I'd like to quickly talk about the Zaho network, which has been in a lot of trouble lately. I also want to tell you what I think about the Zaho network and whether I think it will be good for the XRP system or not. But what I really want to do is talk in great depth about where I think the Zaho network will go next. Now let's talk about the Zaho network. Many people were worried about it because it has smart contract features that the XRP system doesn't. They thought it would eventually start to replace it. Because of this, I want to say how I feel about it. Also, do I worry that the Zaho network will finally take the place of the XRP ledger? No way, not at all. I think it's a gift to the XRP system more than anything else. There's a good reason for that, and I want to go into it. The Zaho network and the XRP record are mostly different right now because the Zaho network has smart contracts on it. What's the point then of not just adding the smart contracts to the XRP ledger? Why did we need a whole new network? Basically, this was talked about by a former Ripple worker. He also said that the XRP ledger would be too exposed because the smart contracts that have been added to the Zaho network are too complicated. It is very important to understand this because one of the best things about the XRP record is that it never ends. Hooks are what add smart contract functionality straight to the XRP ledger, but the ledger stays very active. Don't forget that. If I brought up that subject later in the film, it would be a big risk. What's the point of adding something to the main chain if it could break? It was necessary to try the hook smart contract technology on a different chain to make sure it worked as planned and didn't break anything. Things would still need to be fixed if they were broken. The Zaho chain can now be used as a test network to try out a number of services that could be added to the XRP ledger. I think we will find out in the end that the XRP ledger doesn't really need these smart contracts. Why is that? We should just look at a theory, shall we? Every good chain is a theory. It can be used in many ways. There are many cool things that can be done with development, but it goes very slowly. It's just way too hard. This isn't very helpful for organizations. There's a bug in one of their smart contracts that means you could currently drain someone's account if you give them an NFT and they use it. Imagine if a company used this method and then got NFTs from another company trying to empty its account. What would happen? Right now there is too much programming power. It's not possible to use everything. The network is really having trouble because of the features that were added. The XRP system is very simple, so it doesn't have these kinds of things. When there are too many ways to program something, problems can arise. The XRP system is quick and works well, and it doesn't have those issues. This should stay on the XRP record. One of the best things about having the Zaho network as a side chain is that it lets us try these really cool and complicated things there. They never get to the main chain if they turn out to be useless or dangerous. But if we make something truly amazing and powerful and agree that it should be added to the main chain, you can just add that one small feature to the main chain without adding the huge risk of the whole hook smart contract. That you understand this is very important because I believe the new Zaho network will be a great place to try out new ideas. It will also speed up the passing of changes, in my view, because there won't be as much worry about whether something will work